So with what's been roughly 1.5 years without water on our liveaboard project Narrowboat, yes, it's just about livable and it's pretty horrible. And it was pretty horrible finding out that she had a huge leak running underneath her floorboards 2 days after we purchased her. But it's not going to be horrible for much longer because Bex is about to take charge and in this episode get water running back through the Whistling Wombat's veins.
So difficult.
Hi guys, so today we are fully back in swing on the old DIY route. So while Bex is doing the huge job of bringing water back on the Whistling Wombat, I have got an even bigger job. You've guessed it, I'm cracking on with my hatches. And yes, I know we all thought they were finished, didn't we? But these are the last little bits, really. These are just the little window sills that run underneath each of the windows, and they all need redoing. So we're just going to do this really quick in this episode, guys. Yeah, look, it slots right in here. And a few of them did get torn out, so we've just got to try and make them look all nice again. So I've put some filler in the old holes. Crack on with the old sandy. So just the last few little bits to finish off on these horrible little hatches. Yes, we had to have them, we had to have 3, and they're horrible. But do not fear, Chrissy Crobot is here to make them lovely. Yeah, right. So now the problem obviously is there needs to be a little indent here so that the locks can sit behind it, otherwise it just won't fit in. Can you see? And each windowsill on the Narrowboat for some reason is completely different from the next. So we get chiselling and varnish them up a bit later on. Right. I think that's all done. What the f*** is that?
So for those of you who are wondering what the mystery Christmas present was, it's Mr. Flufferpuff. And the funny thing about this little fella is the louder you scream, the quicker he runs. Perfect for you, Chris, isn't it?
I'm sure that will come in really useful on the Narrowboat. But you know, on a Narrowboat it's normally 1 in, 1 out. You know, there's no room. Only essentials. There's no room for sort of loads of extra bits. So yeah, that'll come in really useful.
But this is part of your spider rehabilitation program.
Ah, okay. If you want to try your own jelly, link down in description. 50% goes to Crobot. Doesn't go. We are not endorsed by Jellies, are we? We want to be.
Sadly not. I'd have loads of them. They're well. Okay, so the time has come that I'm going to have a whirl at plumbing in the kitchen tap. I have been looking and looking at the pipework under the sink for absolutely ages. I've had my dad in to try and decipher it because it's all properly wonky bonky, didn't really make much sense. But today I had an epiphany moment where I was looking at the pipework and I had a look at a schematic of how a Narrowboat water plumbing system is generally sort of set out, and I think I've cracked it. So with that logic, I'm going to have a go and hope not to flood the boat.
So, a new day, and like I said, each windowsill for these little hatches is completely different from the last. So this is the second hatch. The locks sit a lot lower on this, so I came up with a stupid idea of cutting a bigger hole in the actual window ledge. Yeah, because this windowsill was so battered, it seemed like a good idea just to cut sort of bigger holes in there for the locks to sit into. But now coming to think of it, it would have probably been a lot easier just to move the locks up a bit higher, wouldn't it? I mean, why have I done this? But we've done it now and I'm rolling with it, and I know, what an idiotic move, but we'll make it look nice.
After a lot of trying to figure out what on earth's going on with the pipework here, because parts of it were disconnected, I can now kind of forge on ahead with trying to plumb in the kitchen tap. So I've added these connectors to the end here. This is my cold, this is my hot, and I've got my water supply coming from the cold water tank down there up to my stop valve there. Got my filter, my pump. I'm going to move that along a bit because this frame now gets in the way. That will then connect onto my accumulator tank, which I'm just about to reattach, and then I can plumb the kitchen tap in. So the way these accumulator tank works is they act as a sort of a pressure vessel basically, so that your pump isn't having to continuously pump. They have different capacities, so this is 5 litres, so it's able to pressurise 5 litres of water, because inside it has a diaphragm that holds the pressure. Then you turn on your tap and you'd have 5 litres of pressurised water coming through your tap before your pump would have to kick in again to repressurise some more water. So I have disconnected the filter from the pump, and I'm just going to run a length of pipe between the two so that I can situate the pump where it is there, out of the way of this wooden frame. So I've made a short piece of pipe here to connect the filter to the pump, which means I can position the pump better because the frame was getting in the way. So I'm just going to attach that up, and then this end will go into the accumulator tank wherever I've put that, and then that should pretty much complete the circuit. Let's go on. That's fine. I need to push this back a bit more. So difficult. Tape on the wrong way around. To the plumbing aisle.
Bleeding plumbing aisle.
I feel like I spent half my life in the plumbing aisle, hopelessly not knowing what I'm doing and perusing all the bits.
I always feel a little bit lost down the plumbing aisle. I'm not man enough for it yet, am I? All those knobs. Wonder if we need a couple of these little things. I'm not sure.
Says its switch off pressure is 45 psi or 3.1 bar. So that's important to know because we need to pressurise our accumulation tank to work in coordination with our pump. I think you're meant to pressurise the accumulator tank about 3 or 4 psi lower than the pump to ensure that it all works sort of harmoniously with each other. So you see on the bottom of the accumulator tank there's like a little valve here, just like you get on your car tyres really. You can pop a bicycle pump on there, or if your arms are feeling feeble you can go for the electronic compressor just to pump up the pressure inside. So once that's installed, that's what we'll do. Right, so I'm on the last part of the plumbing kind of circuit where I just need to connect the pump up to the accumulator tank. I'm going to use a bit of flexible hose for that because as you can see we've got quite a confined space and I need to get from there to there. So the flexible hose should help me do that. Get a bit of this stuff. I remember like my dad having reels of this when I was a kid and I'd just sit and unwind it. It's like really weird.
A horrible, difficult child.
Coming from you. Sinks on better. Now I need to put this and this onto the copper pipe that's coming out of here. It'll have to be that way. Can't. So here we go. The water pipe's connected to the gate valve. Gate valve's connected to the filter. Filter's connected to the pump, and the pump is connected to the accumulator. All done. Let's hope when I turn a tap on, when they're connected, it doesn't all explode. Always a possibility. So I'll definitely be getting someone who knows what they're doing to come and check that over, because that's the first bit of plumbing I've ever done. And it's kind of based on researching stuff on the internet and kind of trying to figure it out. Another new skill kind of learnt, so quite happy with that.
So I quickly showed you earlier about cutting these little holes in here and it looks an absolute bloody mess, doesn't it? Well, of course it did. I done it. But I'm going to carry out a correction service. So the plan is to make them equal in size and also have them sort of all smooth and looking nice, because at the moment it just looks like a... Yeah, here we go. No one's ever done that before, have they? This can't go wrong, can it? Bex's best friend, the old wood filler. We shall be applying this gloveless with the finger. So I'm gonna bung a bit in here. Bung. Everything gets bunged on this channel, don't it? That's why there's no bloody progress on my behalf. I'm gonna show you guys how to sculpt today. Sculpting, isn't it? It's just on and off, everything. On, off, on, off. Yeah, leave it like that. Crobot 101. It's dried. Let's get sanding these new little bits out and make it look all nice and lovely. Is it possible? What do you reckon? Can I do it? I think at a later stage I'll probably fill these two little knobbly holes up and move the hatch locks up a little bit and make it look all nice like the first hatch. And I mean, this is just completely blagging it now. But it's looking all right. I think if they're all the same, it's fine, isn't it? But they're not.
So the next job is to fix this currently drippy waste pipe. Basically what happened is the sink had to move back slightly in all this process, and in doing so it's disjointed the pipes here, so I'm just going to have to try and come up with a bit of a solution so that they're better aligned, because it's not working very well as it is. Always something, isn't there? I'm just going to have a fiddle around with that, see if I can align it better, and then we should be good to go to give the tap a whirl.
Crobot 101. What is it, like a knife through butter?
Beautifully.
Don't breathe in too much.
Ta-da! By God, I think I am some kind of plumbing genius. Not really, but I have come up with a solution which I'm quite chuffed about. So what I've done is cut a length of pipe that runs from our sort of inlet pipe that comes to here. It's going to connect to our little kind of elbow joint, like so, and then up through our U-bend, which quite honestly I don't think we need, but in order to make this sort of work, that's the only way I can figure it, because the down bit from the sink plug comes too far down to kind of get round it any other way. So hopefully this should work out. So the last little thing I have to do under my grubby little sink hole is pressurise the accumulator tank. I've got my little car tyre compressor, so I don't have to do it by hand because I've tried that before and that was exhausting. So then after that we can hopefully put the tap on and turn it on, and we will have flowing water. Ah, I'm so excited. Pray for Bex. So before I started pumping things left, right and centre, I wanted to check how the system should be set up. So I've downloaded the manual for the water pump that we have in here, the Pentair Sureflow something or other, and had a look, because apparently in order to protect the water pump best, you should set your accumulator tank at a couple of PSI lower than the water pump's kick-in pressure. So in this case, our water pump kick-in pressure is 25 psi, so I'm going to pump the accumulator up to about 23 psi and hope that that does the trick. Right, here goes. Can you imagine if you had to do that by hand? Like, we did try that once ages ago when the Maverick was having a look at the stuff under here, and we had to take it in turns because our arms were just about falling off.
So back onto the windowsill of the first hatch, and with this one I'm going to do it how you're meant to do it. We're going to take off a tiny little bit. Meant to do it. Is it the way you're meant to do it? But we're going to take off a tiny little bit. There we go, got the fundamentals. Big words for a big boy. I mean, there we go. That's what it's meant to look like, and it fits in just perfect. The hatch is open and shut, and it locks. All we've got to do is whack a bit of varnish on there. Lovely jubbly. That actually fits perfectly for a change. So we'll get some sanding paper on there, get some weather-resistant glazing on there, aka varnish, and yeah, sand it all down. It'll make it look all nice. That is nearly done now.
Stages, guys. My anxiety is through the roof. It's scary times, but I'm about to fit the tap. Right, and remember, cold on the right, hot on the left. So there she is, she's on, ready for the acid test. I can honestly say I haven't felt this nervous in a while. Like, it's scary, so I really hope it goes to plan. Let's see. I'm going to turn the mains water on from our tank at the front there. Chris is ready in the bathroom, waiting to see if any leakages come out of the shower and the taps in there. Hopefully it shouldn't. I've made sure to close everything off in there, but just in case something randomly explodes. And then he's going to come through here once he's happy that nothing's leaking there, and we'll turn the kitchen tap on.
Has she done it again?
Going down. I'm going to be checking also under the sink here that once I turn the water on, that nothing starts leaking out of any of the joints here. So, alright, I'm going to turn it on now, okay? Do I turn it the whole way? I'm not really sure.
Looking good. She is the pride of Eaton Soken. Has she done it again? Do you reckon you've done it again?
I'm not completely confident. I think everything's wired up okay. What I'm a little bit worried about is the pump.
Always looking for food, these little buggers out there. Oh, sorry.
Not doing anything.
Oh.
So, I think...
Is the pump meant to kick in and bring it up?
Yeah, I'm not... I think one that used to have to switch one of these on, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's the boiler thing. No, something's not right. Just check it's all right. We should hear a noise from the pump. Header tank in that. That's... No, it's not. I'm a bit baffled. This is what I thought might happen. You know, when I said to you I just had a bit of a look at the pump last time and it didn't do anything, which was a bit concerning.